No, I didn't. Thank you very much. A few questions for Ainslie. Thank you very much for your presentation. Just some clarity. You just mentioned about the consultation process. I believe you were talking about when the park board was working on the strategic planning process and had open houses, facilitators. Is that what you were referencing in terms of that particular process? And if it is, I guess what your thoughts were on that kind of a format of having the meetings and people being able to come down and discuss their ideas and have some dialogue in that way. So that would be my first question.
Well, one that comes to mind is one that happened at Killarney when there was a whole revamp of the park that was going to happen with skateboarding and volleyball, and certainly before any of that went forward, we heard from the public and they indicated that that was not what they wanted in that plan. The breaks went on in that plan. So yes, for public consultation, tell the public what the new model is going to look like. If that's the case, rather than doing it now while negotiations are going on, make sure that the public's involved in that they can give you a clear indication of what they support.
Okay. Yeah, a few more questions. You stated your concern about, again, if I misunderstood, please clarify for me. You had concerns about the July 1st date, or a hard date to have an agreement. I'm wondering if you were aware in May of 2011, the APG had proposed a negotiation timeline of 2.5 months. Essentially would have started in June 7th, June 9th, gone through the summertime, factoring in August, finalized by September 15th. So really a 2.5 month period. Just wondering if you were, if you realized that had been a timeline proposed by the APG in the past.
I was on the board when those discussions were going on. I wasn't involved in them, so I knew that there was a short time frame that was proposed, but I think that was when it was considered that there was open dialogue going back and forth. That was before terms like non-negotiable and willing to negotiate for 3 weeks were being thrown out there.
Okay. And last question, Madam Chair. Being on board now for just over 4 years, I caught one of your questions, or one of your comments, that the APG had come up with some modeling and ways of us achieving all of those goals. I'm trying to rack my brain as to when those ideas would have come across. I'm wondering if you could give some clarity as to when the APG had put proposals on the table on how we could have done the financial modeling to achieve all of those goals. Can you precisely when that happened, when those proposals were brought forward?
Well, that was, I think, in the process that happened over the summer when people met.
You're talking like this last 2012 meeting?
No, I think I was involved in the process, so I can't speak to it 100%, but I know that there was a cost-sharing model that was suggested that Wendy Tuplin-Guest, Kathleen Bigsby, and a few other people worked on through the summer. That there was documents that were produced, and then, to my understanding, they were never looked at, or they were looked at and never revisited.
You know, because we were workshopping it, but I don't think there's any conclusions. But you're right. We had trying to work as a collaborative on finding solutions. But thank you very much for your presentation.
Okay, I didn't see any further questions, so thank you all three for coming up and